Welcome to the LGBTQ Real Estate Podcast, connecting LGBTQ homebuyers, sellers, and real estate pros since 2007. My name is Jeff Berger. I'm the host of the show. And with us today is an awesome guest. I don't just say that lightly. Bill Parkerson is a realtor in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
A pleasure. A pleasure. So I'm in Florida. You're in Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally and professionally.
Well, personally, first of all, I'd like to say that my spouse and I, John, we've been together 32 years, and we've been married. I think now it's 11, whenever it changed, where it was legal in the United States. So we've been together a long time. I personally administered corporation law for many years, up until the time that I retired in 2001. And in 2000 and let's say two or three, I started getting bored. So I used to flip houses, and I decided that, well, why am I paying realtor fees when I could probably do it myself? So I got my real estate license. So that being said, obviously I've been a real estate agent for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of ups and downs throughout the my whole experience. Now I've worked with some LGBTQ people in the community. I don't have a lot of that. A lot of the clients who are part of that community, but it's primarily my business revolves around selling the luxury homes, and also I work with some investors. But I'm just enjoying real estate life and enjoying my own personal uh, hobbies. By the way, I have four dogs and a macaw.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm an animal lover also. I have two cats, no dogs. Love dogs though. Um, that's great. So, here we are on the LGBTQ Real Estate Podcast. Tell us a little bit about why you enjoy working with the LGBTQ community so much.
Well, probably because I have an understanding which is similar to them. When I say them, I'm referring to all of my clients or anyone in the community. Actually, we can relate because there's certain things that you just generally wouldn't express to a straight person or anyone who doesn't fall within the particular parameters of LGBTQ. And
Yeah,
there's
I can understand
toward
that.
yeah, and I'm not familiar. Or I'm not sure if you're familiar with this or not, but Richard Florida wrote a book, the rise of the up and coming class, or something like that, if I recall. And he talked in his book about, and this was back in 2004, I believe, about the gay fixer-uppers who were buying homes and coming in, and they had the ability to actually look at a property and generally could decorate it or remodel it.
Sure. Sure, yeah. That's been a big part of culture, the LGBTQ community, and you know, fixing, designing, um, building. Such a large part of the real estate community the LGBTQ community plays. And yeah, I agree with you. I've been watching the development for many, many years. Since 2004, actually, we share that same year. Um, yeah, so you live in Scottsdale, okay? Share with us a little bit about why you love living in your community. For example, what are your favorite parts of the area, whether it's the arts or dining or great coffee shops, wine bars? In a nutshell, what is it that you love about the area that's something someone watching this podcast would enjoy to learn? I'm sorry, Bill, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. It did on its own.
That's okay.
Uh, what I was saying was, at one time I lived in Phoenix, and I would see people out just miserable walking around on the streets, and then I there was a Costco, so I would drive over to Scottsdale, and I saw people skating in the park, near the parks, on the sidewalks. I saw people riding bikes. People were generally happy, and because most of Scottsdale has that particular type of community. This was before North Scottsdale, which is a really large part of Scottsdale now, started really being developed. I remember when Scottsdale was just an old western town, but
Hmm.
Scottsdale in and of itself has a great vibe, a great lifestyle. So does Phoenix now too, to give it credit, but at that time it didn't. Uh, Arts, definitely, food, and just plain culture. I mean, there's a
I'm sorry, your mic got muted again.
There we go. But people are generally happier in that area. It's just has it's one of the best places to live in all of Arizona and actually in parts of the United States. I just saw a study the other day.
That sounds great. Yeah, I imagine the quality of life is very nice there. It's a beautiful place, Scottsdale. Very relaxing, calming,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's really been a boom in the West Coast. So many people have relocated there. And like you said, you remember when it was a small, country style town, and here it is. I don't even know what to compare it to. It's just a unique area that has beauty and arts and a lot of luxury homes, right? Tell us about the housing stock. Like, for example, not necessarily what's on sale now, because this podcast may be seen, 6 months, a year from now, even. But tell us a little bit about the housing stock. If someone was looking to move to Scottsdale, the area that you service in Phoenix, single family. I imagine there's a downtown, high rises. A little bit of everything, right?
Yes, there are some high rises, primarily single family homes. There are some condos, but primarily Scottsdale consists of luxury homes. And
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
actually, that's single family homes, and I'm not sure what all you heard, but what I was saying was we do have some high rises. Uh, there are some condominiums, but primarily single family homes. And Scottsdale is adjacent to Paradise Valley, which is basically not just a subsection of Scottsdale. But in that area, we have all the primary luxury homes. We're talking $1 million homes. They sprawl. You know, they're about sometimes between 5 and 9,000 square feet, and they're
Well,
beautiful. But they're very secluded. Some are in neighborhoods too, but Scottsdale, if you going from downtown Scottsdale as you go out farther north or you go towards Phoenix, the homes they're they're really quite lovely. I would say a lot of them, the range I would say about 4 to 5,000 square feet, maybe three to five. Prices range from just a regular single family home about starting at 700,000. The average price, I'm going to say, in the area that I particularly sell homes is starting out at about 1.9 million. And then,
hmm,
obviously, it's definitely Florida when it comes to pricing, but they range all the way up to 3 or 4 million. But what's nice about Scottsdale is everything is flat, so it's all platted out, and so it's easy to drive. It's easy to get where you're going. Traffic is, that's probably the biggest pain. Of course, everyone has that, I think. But it's very easy to get around, and
yeah,
the properties are really nice there.
very nice.
Everything
Yeah, I've seen
is
some beautiful properties online. Uh, Beautiful properties with desert vista views and sunsets, and really pretty, right?
yes, very. Arizona has beautiful sunrises, and also because we're in a valley, we have a lot of mountain views. So, and that of course raises property values because everyone wants a mountain view. Also, golfing. Arizona is really popular for golfing, and we have major golf courses out here, and that's really good. That is a major draw when it comes to buying properties because a lot of people like to live on the golf courses, or accessible to them, and be one of the particular areas where they can see everything that's going on. So that actually adds a lot to property value. As I said, Scottsdale has a lot to offer. It really does.
Yeah, it sounds like a beautiful lifestyle.
It
Very
is.
nice. So, with that said, again, we're on a LGBTQ real estate podcast. Of course, everyone knows that. So, what should LGBTQ individuals and families know about Scottsdale in your area that may be considering to move, and want to know a little bit about the community as it pertains to LGBTQ? I believe it's a very friendly, inviting area, correct?
It is. It's very inclusive. When in all the years I've lived in Scottsdale, I've never dealt with anyone who was, you know, anti-gay or anti-anything for that matter. And maybe I was just lucky, but it's very inclusive. The As far as people moving out, what's one thing that's good about Scottsdale is the property values continue to rise. That is one of the most popular cities in Arizona. So the property values keep going, rise and rise. It's also, if I would say, not so much for an investor, but someone who is willing, which what I was referring to as well, buying a property, remodeling it, and then reselling it. There really is no loss because Scottsdale can actually support the property, the price, and the asking price. Uh,
Yeah,
there are, yeah,
so much demand, right? So many people want to move there.
Yes, that's why the property values keep going up because that is one area that it really it never slowed down. It's a hot market right now. And even, when we went over from the crazy market where you couldn't find a home and everybody was making multiple offers to the time when property values throughout the United States started going down somewhat. And everyone was afraid to sell. The properties in Scottsdale continued to sell. And people, we still, Scottsdale is really popular and it's really hard to find a home. They go in just a couple of days, and they're usually with multiple offers.
Wow. Wow. Well, what's great about this podcast is someone that's looking to move to the Phoenix and Scottsdale area now has an agent like yourself with such experience to help them in what can be a challenging market. So,
Mhm.
this is important. So, whoever's watching this on YouTube, uh, Bill Parkinson, sales, Scottsdale.com. Your phone number, your other information will be inclusive in the information part of the YouTube video. So here we are. We're at our last question. The podcast is usually about 15 minutes, so we're running right on time. So besides helping people buy and sell homes, what do you like to do in your free time? Tell us what your hobbies are.
Well, my pets, number one, where I spend a lot of time with them. I like when it's
Yeah.
cool. I like going out walking. I love art. I love music. That
Oh,
keeps me busy. I'm a pianist as well. So,
oh, wow.
yeah, that keeps me very busy. And also, I've always been one to remodel homes and decorate. So I'm always out
Yeah.
looking to see what's new and what's fresh, and reading architectural digests and various media to see what is actually happening in the world today. So and trying to include that into the Sonoran type of lifestyle that we have, desert or and decorations that we have out here, or design that we have out here in Arizona, because not everything works. It's really funny to see people. And you sound like you might be. I know you're in Florida, but you have an Eastern accent, so I'm guessing you must have been up a little farther north. But it's
Yeah,
funny to see people.
I grew up in New York. Yeah.
I figured as much, yeah, because I could tell by the accent. That's where my mother was from, so that's how I recognize it. But
Great.
There was I remember these people moved out from into Arizona from New York and possibly a little farther north, but they brought all this really dark furniture with them. And you could walk in the house, you could tell from the second you walked in that, oh, these people are from the East Coast because this furniture is completely different than you would see in Arizona, just by a few shades
Really?
of wood.
Well, I'm living in Florida for about 23 years now, and I'm all light furniture. I can't do dark furniture. It's just I like light colors to the eye, more
Mm.
minimalist, but that's just me, just a preference. But yeah, I'm selling real estate for a long time, so I can understand what you're saying. It is often a preference, and it seems to me that many of the furniture stores carry that, and that's what people buy. Just
Hmm.
it just happens. Um, yeah. Well, this is great. This is great. So thanks for joining us on the show. Okay. We'll see you on YouTube. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your summer. Thanks for joining the podcast.
Yes, and whoever is joining us on the podcast, thank you for listening to me. And I apologize for my casual attire. As I was mentioning earlier, I've been itching, and it's really hot out right now. So I did this. And I wasn't actually intending to do a podcast for the public. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. So I apologize. I don't normally look like this. So if you
Oh,
go to my
that's
website, you'll
fine.
see what I look like.
That's perfectly fine. Be yourself, be comfortable. It's about 100 degrees in Arizona. It's hot in Florida as well during the summertime. Let's be ourselves and be comfortable.
All right. Sounds good to
Great.
me. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Jeff.
Oh, a pleasure. Okay. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.